Here are my detailed thoughts with timestamps of Arcane Season 2, Episode 3. Let's go ahead and get started with Episode 1. Similar to my last videos, I have my laptop in front of me, so that's what I'm referencing to look at my notes. So, at the beginning, at 103, I think it was really sick whenever you saw the reflection of Jinx and Powder in the mirror when it opened up with Ekko. Seeing Benzo there, you're thinking, aha, okay, I'm seeing some things now. We are in some sort of alternate reality here. At 312, seeing Zaun in its glory was so nice, and seeing what it could have been in the other timeline. And using the white vignette border on everything was really cool. Also using the low pass audio to make it seem that stuff was going wonky, really cool. Seeing Vander there, seeing Mylo, seeing Clagger there, oh, amazing. At 510, seeing Gert, it was really awesome seeing her there since she was one of the frontline Jinxers that was there. I didn't remember seeing her that much in Season 1, but I haven't seen Season 1 in a long time, so she could have been a very prevalent character. I've been meaning to go and watch Season 1. I'll do that eventually, but for now I wanted to watch this and get this video out. At 5:30, Ekko was going through the timeline sickness that I feel was very well done. It had all of the mind stuff going on, getting a little bit of a headache and trying to figure out what's the difference between this timeline and the other timeline that he just came from. Thought it was very well done. Now, I am a big fan of different timeline variation things. I'm going to go on a slight tangent, but it's going to bring it back. One of my favorite shows is The Flash. It's got that aspect of different timelines because Barry tries to save his mom and he tries to go back in time and it creates alternate branches of the timeline. Furthermore, that grows out into the rest of the Arrowverse, and eventually Earth 1 is how we reference the original OG timeline. Similarly, I'm going to describe Runeterra as Runeterra 1 or R1 to signify that's the OG. So, with Ekko and Heimerdinger going to this alternate timeline, I'm going to call that Runeterra 2 or R2 just for the sake of this. So, again, I feel that the timeline sickness was very well done. I know that every time there is time stuff, whether that's in different shows or movies, it can be done a different way. I feel they executed this pretty well. At 5:42, Vander asking Jinx, what would they do without you, is the second time that the question has been asked, because Clagger also asked right before that what Ekko would do without Jinx. Funny how they put such a stress on that, of what would you do without Jinx? Thought it was very interesting. At 6:02, Vander told Jinx that as good as it feels to pour everyone else's drink, you need to fill your own cup every now and again. And I feel that's sort of a predecessor towards the end of the season because she ended up filling other people's cups in different ways. Sure, she was very destructive in her Jinx form, essentially, but I feel that she definitely ended up filling people's cup in saving them in her own different ways. And I feel that she filled her own cup by zipping out of that explosion at the end. We're going to talk about that. But I feel that she is on the process of filling up her own cup because she got through what she needed to do to save everybody, but now she's doing what she needs to do for herself. Again, we'll talk about this, but she has a lot of strife between her two identities of Jinx and Powder, and I feel that zipping out of there, she is now going to take care of herself and her needs and what she needs to do for herself. I didn't catch that at first, that little zip at the end, but I will say that that was one of the reasons that attributed to me crying so much. If you saw my first reaction video, I was thinking that Jinx was done. I wasn't really focusing on anything else. Even the ship that was very glaringly right there at the very end, I didn't see it, but we'll talk about that. Back at it, 7:12. Heimerdinger said that he's been in R2 for 1,128 days and 6 hours and 28 minutes. Now, I think that so this is I'm writing how I wrote in my notes. I have a hiccup coming on. Hiccup. Okay, so at first, oh, another one. One more. All right, that's enough. I choked on my water before, so that's great. Now, I think that it's one of two things as far as R2. One, in this timeline, in Runeterra 2, timeline goes slower as compared to Runeterra 1 because there ain't no way that all of that time passed in R2 as it did in R1 because that would be a long length of time that all of that ended up transpiring. So, I think that it was not that. Well, I think that it was either the time was going slower, or I feel that whenever Ekko jumped back, he jumped back to the time right when he needed to jump back. Yeah, I think that's how they did it. So they just chose to. It's interesting though, because in my notes, I wrote that maybe they chose when to jump with how they programmed it, just like how the Flash in Arrowverse chooses the exact time that he wants to time travel back towards. But it's interesting because I'm not sure how they knew exactly which time, or just happened to be perfect sort of luck. It seemed to be more perfect sort of luck because I don't know how they would pick the exact point because they didn't know anything that was going on. So I think it was just random. At 8:24, Jinx said, whenever she said she was going to see Vi, and asked Ekko to come with her, I was thinking, all right, cool. What is Vi like in this timeline? Haha, jokes. She was not alive because she died due to things that happened in that particular job that they went on, which sucks. I'll get more on that. Yeah, I'll get more on that. Okay, so at 8:51, Jayce threw up like Ekko did. Common in timeline jumps, I feel, to have some sort of sickness that's going on that your body is trying to make reason and make do. What's going on? I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong time. When am I? Very good, I thought. 9:41, I thought that hooded figure that came up was Jayce himself, that he was coming to either help or instruct or guide at that time where our one Jayce needed to go. This is what I had initially thought. But of course it turned out that it was actually Viktor. And again, I'm going to talk about this more down below because I literally have I thought it was around 18 pages of notes. And I thought that initially Jayce went to a different timeline, so possibly an R3, because that was not the same timeline that Ekko and Heimerdinger landed in. But at the end, I figured out that that was actually R1, but it was just in the future after things already happened. I'll talk about that more though. At 10:11, looking at those frozen blasted people from the Hex blast, all that transpired in that future, yikes. They did a very good job at making all of those people look very, very... It was creepy, but sad. And more sad than creepy. It was just very, very ominous. 10:31. We got to see Hexxed Up. That's what I'm going to call. So all of these people that got messed up with the Hex Blast or whatever, I'm going to call them Hexxed Up because they got altered by Hex energy. So seeing Hexxed Up Piltover, yikes. And again, you can see all of those blasted people that are all hexed out. Very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. At 10:54, Mylo's face is on the sticker on Jinx's monkey contraption. And I feel that that's a nod to how he ended up dying on R1 back in the first season, because it was Jinx's monkey bomb that made the whole building tumble down and he ended up dying. So I thought that was a nod to that. Very, very nice. At 11 minutes in, I see the bunny ears. These are the bunny ears that the airship, the air balloon that Jinx came riding in on had the same bunny ears. Thought that was cool and nice little foreshadowing there. Now, I thought this was really, really cool, and I'm glad that I started time stamping again. At 11:11, 11:11 is when Jinx was lighting the candles with Vi. And I feel that, because what's common at 11:11? You make a wish, right? So I thought that that was really, really nicely timed. At 11:11, Jinx is lighting the incense, wishing, I'm sure, that Vi was still there in that moment. Nice. Also, the picture that was there was in the same style as the Remember Me music video. That's what I'm calling it, that montage that was in the last act. That was so beautiful, and that song is incredible. Incredible! But that was very cool to see that same art style making another appearance. At 12:24, that shot in particular makes Zaun look exactly like Ba Sing Se, down to the colors and the intricate markings over there. It looks like a spitting image, which I think is very cool and very fitting. I feel that the Zaunites, especially in this world, everybody is all, I feel that they're grounded. They have that good feeling of grounded in who they are, embracing the festivities, the marketplace, the good, joyous vibes that are there. So I feel that it looking like the Earth Kingdom is a very nice fit. So I wonder if the designers and the artists and the illustrators and animators, if any of them like Avatar. It's very, very possible. At 12:42. Now, this is clearly on, okay, let me see. Clearly on Runeterra 1 since Ekko, aha. Okay, so, I see. So, this is the part where Ekko comes, he's just walking through the marketplace, and he has that vision, and he sees Jinx dead and some others dead. I feel that vision is clearly on Runeterra 1, since Ekko is in his R1 variant, that steampunky variant. But I feel this could be a potential branch off of the timeline of R1. So not necessarily a different universe, a different timeline like Runeterra 2 and the one that he's on, but I feel it is a vision of how, if there's just a mini branch, so not a whole separate tree, but a different branch. Now, in The Flash, in Arrowverse, I'm going to make a lot of references to this because I love that show and I think they did a very good job with the different timelines. Flash had a lot of separate branches that were very, very tiny differences in how the timeline would end up going. So I feel that Ekko seeing that vision was attributed to how he had the power of Hex and the anomaly that had altered him. I feel that that allowed him to tap into a sort of potential future vision, not super future because it wasn't guaranteed to happen, but I think it was just a potential slight branch off. But I think something that did, in explaining this, I feel something that maybe brings it home a little more is Loki. Incredible show. But with the branches that happened, and if you're looking through the eyes of all of the tech that the TVA had, the Time Variance Authority had, you could see all these slightly different timelines. They weren't super different, but they were just slight branches. So I feel that that's what Ekko saw. At 13:04, dawg, it really does look like Ba Sing Se. Exactly. They really had to have taken that inspiration from the Earth Kingdom. Yes. At 13:10, when that song, Spin the Wheel, first started singing, I went, wait a minute, is that Heimerdinger singing? And that is. So Mick, who's the voice actor for Heimerdinger, actually sang it, which was super cool and such a nice touch. And seeing Heimerdinger perform and he's actually singing that, because there are some shows, enough hiccups, because there are plenty of shows where someone takes over for the actor I mean, for the character, rather, and the actor that they sing. But Heimerdinger was singing his own tune. Very, 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 very cool. Random thought. With Spotify, they released Arcane, the soundtrack, in little chunks. So they'd say, hey, you could pre-save the album, and then you see the songs will get released as time goes on. So as every act went on, I liked the songs and I was listening to them. But at the very end, they released an entire new album with all the songs. So I'm a little sad because the songs that I've saved, now I have to go back and save them if I want to save them in the actual official album, which is a little sad. Also, I almost got spoiled because on Spotify, the day that Act 3 came out, I saw a little, you know how Spotify has the little pop-ups? It said, new Arcane single out, spin the wheel. And I was thinking, dadgummit, like, is there something that's gonna be about spinning a wheel or roulette or something? So that was super sad. So you gotta watch out for that. Spotify might spoil you too, because it was something more indicative of something happening. I would have gotten caught by that spoiler. So watch out for that. Even Spotify, you gotta watch out for. Because before I watched this, I didn't go on Twitter at all. I didn't go on Facebook. I didn't open Instagram. I didn't open anything until I finished watching it because I didn't want to get spoiled. But Spotify counts too now, so watch out. 1408. Seeing Powder cry over dead Vi was so sad. That hurt me. At 1501, the song Not Your Concern. I thought that was so funny. Just his concern. Amazing. At 1512, the lyrics, just let the gears turn, in that Spin the Wheel song. I think that's such a cool nod to how the gear is such an important symbol and motif constantly in the show. There are a lot of gears that turn, obviously, but the one that I'm thinking of in particular is when Viktor was just toying around with that gear when he was both talking to Jinx and Vi. He had that gear. And then after Jayce murked him with the hammer blast, he dropped that gear, and the gear, you know, kept rolling and turning and doing its thing. So very cool nod to that. At 1524, it was confirmed that Heimerdinger was singing, because you actually saw him singing in the square. Really, really cool. At 1532, the kid who's in the wheelchair looks to me like a young Salo. Could be a Salo variant, could be Salo's kid in R2. Also, the Bat Kid looked like Ekko's friend in R1. So that was interesting. Just small. And then I saw Sevika on the right at 1532. So she did make an appearance in there. She's on the right side there. At 1603, when the Hexxed people start moving, so that was when Jayce was walking through and he was making his way through the blasted people. At first, I thought that all of them were just blasted people, but there were some of the Hex mechs, that's what I'm going to call them, that the Hexxed mechs, Hexxed mechs, yeah, that some of those were actually amidst the blasted people. So they started moving and they were, and it kind of reminded me, if you've ever played Little Nightmares, there's a part that has mannequins that are moving. They reminded me of that so much. 1617, yo, Jayce got how the hammer landed on his leg. Ooh, and then he fell down that cavern. Homie got wrecked. Fell right on his face. You hate to see it. At 1749, the ambient music, I just want to say, whenever he was trapped in there, I think was perfect. Perfectly enveloped and embodied the creepiness and the solemnitude and the franticness that Jayce had when he was trying to survive and he was eating all these hex lizards and things. I thought he was eating his own leg at first, but That's not what it was, because you saw a little hex lizard go around. So that was good. 17. Oops, nope, I already said that. 1803. Viktor popped up, and homie was just watching man struggle. I said, dang. He really just said, you gonna grow from this. Could have helped him out, but nah. At 1918, homie was down there in the cavern a long time. So it was very nice to see how Jayce ended up coming out like that he had all of his facial hair and he looked weathered. So now we know it was because he was trapped down there in the cavern. 1924, thought it was really sick. Ooh. All right, I'm back. I thought it was really sick how he disassembled his weapon so he could create his leg brace and his cane. Very crafty, very smart, very demure. At 2014, the rain falling down after he climbed up out of the cavern finally. I feel that water is such a healing / come to terms motive in the show. So after he got out and the rain started falling down, I feel it was just a congratulatory, yes, you did it and you're on the path to doing what you need to do. Because similarly, hiccup with the rain, Jinx, whenever she was comforting Silco, whenever wow, my hiccups are wildin'. Whenever Silco died in her arms and she was comforting him, there was also rain. And then similarly with water, whenever Jinx was talking to Silco, there was more water whenever she was comforting her. Or when Silco, back that up, whenever Silco was comforting Jinx after the whole thing with Vander and Vi left her, there was rain. And then when Jinx was talking to Silco. Okay, this is the joy of no editing. Sometimes if I make mistakes, you just gotta say, hey man, this happened, and keep rolling with it, baby. All right, so at 2048, Ekko painted the mural of Vi, which first of all, super good. I'm gonna switch hands. First of all, super good. Second of all, I thought this was a very nice parallel with R2 and R1, because on Runeterra 1, there was the big mural of Jinx that Vi saw whenever Jinx and Isha, R.I.P., were taking the underground passage to go see Vander. That was a really nice parallelism. Aha! All right. So at 2152, Ekko says, sometimes taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind. Just like how Jinx takes a leap forward at the end of the show, literally leaving Vander from the blast and leaving everything behind and dipping out. And in my notes, I put to show up in another league show. So, I'll mention that, but since I'm right here right now, what my hot hypothesis is that Jinx is going to completely disappear from the face of everyone that she knows, and she's not going to contact Vi, she's not going to contact Ekko, she's not going to contact Sevika, she's not going to contact nobody. I feel that her past life, all the people that she knew, are just dead to her. I feel that if we do see Jinx again, which I feel that because Jinx is such a loved character, I don't think that they're just going to drop her and we're never going to see her again. I do think, however, that we are going to see Jinx in a different league show in some capacity. I'll talk about that more, but I think that's what's going to happen. At 2323, it had such cool shots with all of the split screen business and all of the montages with them building and working on this hex tech. I think that was really well done. At 2404, I thought it was very funny how the monkeys that were bombs on Runeterra 1 were actually catalysts for creating this creation and leading to good on Runeterra 2. Because all those monkeys were one of the things that were powering this big technological feat that they made. Really cool. 2505, really sick how they nailed down time travel. Heimerdinger said, yo, how you do that? And Ekko said, yo, man, I just used Jayce's acceleration rune and tweaked it a little bit. Man's is cracked. 2630, 4 seconds is the magic number that things go wrong. And yeah, so I thought that in this universe is interesting because going back 4 seconds completely obliterated Heimerdinger, that he literally just exploded. And you could see on 2641 Heimerdinger's fur on Ekko. You could see that that was not good. In different shows, if you go back that far, like 4 seconds or more, people usually don't explode, which I thought was interesting. That was the limit. Very, very interesting. And I know that there had to be a short window of time that they had to use to supersede that to make the ante go up in the last episode of this act. But I just thought that, yeah, 4 seconds is really short, I feel, for things to go that bad. Interesting. 2732. I thought it was really sick when transitioning from that scene with Ekko, Powder, and Heimerdinger to Jayce. There was a clock in the background right after they were talking about time and messing with it and everything. So they go from time and then they go to Jayce, and there's a big old clock in the background. I see you, showrunners. I see you, Arcane. At 2837, Benzo saying that Jinx loves making a spectacle. That's really cool. How no matter if it's Runeterra 1, Runeterra 2, or whatever other Runeterra timelines there are, the Jinx is the same in that she always wants to make a spectacle. Nice. 2923, Silco. We get to see Silco on Runeterra 2, and that is really cool because they're buddy here. But I thought it was really funny how right after that, at 2931, Ekko asked Silco, didn't you try to kill him? He's just so blunt. And Silco saying, the greatest thing we can do in life is find the power to forgive. So some strife happened between them, but they ended up working it out. Very funny how paralleled. There was some sort of strife on R1 and some sort of strife on R2 between them, but they worked it out. Unfortunately, in R1, they didn't get to work it out. Vander wanted to with that note that they found, but it didn't work out. Blisters and Bedrock didn't work out. 30 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, Powder. Powder is looking super stunning at the dance, which was really, really cool. It was cool to see all these variations of Powder and Jinx in this whole, because she had a lot of different variants and not presentation, but you know what I mean. Just different appearances, which I thought was so cool. All right, so oh man, let's see if I can pronounce this right. Ma Milieu Enemy. The French song was so good. And the lyrics, I thought, were very interesting. I don't speak French. Some of my family members speak French, but I did not learn it. So I'm just going to go through some of the lyrics of that song. And I think it's very interesting because, keep in mind, this is when Ekko and Powder are dancing together. And then this song, which translates, from what I understand, either my best enemy or my dear enemy. Ma Milieu Enemy. So, here are just some of the lyrics here. You're the best thing to ever happen to me, but also the worst thing to ever happen to me. Topical. On that day when I met you, maybe I would rather that it never happened to me. The worst of all blessings, the best of all curses. I should stray away from you, but as the saying goes, better than alone is to be bad. Better than alone is to be in bad company. And then the pre-chorus, pardon me. You know what they say. Hey, I say you know what they say. Let's go. You know what they say. Stay close to your dearest friends, but also even closer to your adversaries. But my best enemy is you. Flee from me, the worst is you and I. But if you keep searching for my voice, forget me, the worst is you and I. Okay, this is just the verse 2. It's not very long. Stay with me, camera guy. Why does hearing your name hurt me when it hides right there in the vicinity? What kind of emotion? Is it hatred or pure sweetness when I hear your name? I had told you not to keep looking behind. Your past will follow you and take you to war. But my best enemy is you. Flee from me. The worst is you and I. But my best enemy is you. Flee from me. The worst is you and I. And then the outro ends with, I love you. I'm leaving you. 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 Multiple times. So, I feel again that is such an attributement to how Jinx ends her time with the people that she loves. These are all translations based off of contributors on Genius, so thank you. I'm going to link my document in the description of this video, so if you want to see my thoughts and everything, you can see that there, but I'm going to put the link. That link is in the doc if you want to see exactly what it looked, or you can just look up translations of the song, either way. Also, I thought it was a cool sequence for the dance there. I loved the animation style, the movement of it. Amazing. Okay, at 30:59, so many people I've seen on Twitter have juxtaposed this shot of Powder and Ekko just overlooking the city of Zaun with Gwen and Miles looking over the city of New York. Really, really cool. And looking at it, hiccup. I think it is so well done and so beautifully crafted in that shot that, yeah, it looks very much like it. 31:40, wait. 31:38, when Powder leaned on Ekko, just makes your heart melt. At 31:47, again, they love the callbacks on quotes. I've mentioned this before, that you have one character who says something, and then the character that they said it to says it back to them later. This happened so many times, but it happened again here. Because now Powder said the line that Ekko used of sometimes taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind. At 32:32, they kiss. Let's go, baby. That's what we love to see. Yes. Yes. All right. At 33:03, that's definitely Jayce on this return to... Okay. So I hadn't figured it out what was going on yet. At 33:03, this was when Jayce was walking up to the person who was holding the hammer. And then you look at that hammer and you go, that's Jayce. Now, I was thinking at the time of my note taking here that Jayce was on a different Runeterra. So possibly Runeterra 3. But that is definitely, as I said, a future vision of what happened on Runeterra 1. At 33:16, when Jayce sees himself, there are dragonflies around. Now, since butterflies have a meaning of change, I feel this is very, very powerful. Now, here's this quote from dragonfly.org. The dragonfly in almost every part of the world symbolizes change, and change in the perspective of self-realization, and the kind of change that has its source in mental and emotional maturity, and the understanding of the deeper meaning of life. I mean, if that ain't topical, I don't know what is. Now at 37:32, that's so wild how Powder got to see R1 Ekko whenever he was about to jump back in time. I didn't think that Powder was going to see that Ekko. but it's really cool that she did. Also, so what happened to Heimerdinger though? So R2 Ekko returned to his body as Powder saw when he was about to jump back to R1. But Heimerdinger wasn't in that little hex pad. Homie wasn't in there because he was plugging it up. Now, did he go to another Runeterra? Did he go to R3? Did he end up in where did he go? Where did he go? Because we never saw him again. Never did. There were a lot of things that were answered in this act, but there were also a lot of things that weren't answered. And yeah, there are a lot of things that you just go, well, what happened with this, or what's the development with that? And I feel this is something. So my thought, since we didn't see Heimerdinger at all, because with Ekko jumped back to R1. We saw R1 Ekko while R2 Ekko's body was in Powder's arms. And then whenever R1 Ekko dipped from R2 Ekko woke up and looked at Powder and said, Powder, what's going on? What's popping? So the body still stayed in the same place. So if Heimerdinger took over the body that was R2 Heimerdinger, shouldn't that Heimerdinger's body still just been there on the floor? What happened? What happened? Because there's not another Heimerdinger body on Runeterra 2 because that body was right there. Where'd he go? So my thought is that if we do see Heimerdinger again, Heimerdinger's going to pop up in some other continent maybe, or if there's another league show that entertains the other timelines, because now we see that there are other timelines happening in tandem, that maybe there's going to be a Heimerdinger who's there, and maybe they'll help, I don't know, an alternate Ekko or something. Maybe I'm thinking too much into the multiverse of madness over here, but I'm just thinking. I didn't see his body. I don't know where homie's at. All right, enough on that. 3826. Powder put her spinning flower pendant there that some people have called the time bomb necklace in the drawer with the chain off. So this was interesting to me because Powder took the chain off of this pendant here. So she took the chain off and she put it. That means she has no intention to wear this pendant anymore. And she also put it in the drawer with the shards of Hextech. So, to me, I was wondering why. Like, is she just letting bygones be bygones? Is she thinking that, okay, we achieved what we wanted to with the Hex technology, so we're just not going to touch it anymore? And because that pendant is a symbolism of her, I guess, I don't know, togetherness, for lack of a better word, with Ekko. I was just a little confused as what that symbolized. So maybe I'm just missing it. So if y'all know, please let me know in the comments what you think about that. Because that I'm not super sure. And maybe that's a big thing in season 1 that I forget of the hardcore symbolism of that pendant. But yeah, I'm not sure. So, that is everything for episode 7. Wow, we're 39 minutes into the video. That's wild. It's going to be a long video. All right, moving on. Episode 8. 32 seconds in. It was nice to see why Mel went Super Saiyan. She truly is a mage now, which is super sick. That checks out. 247. So, I had thought if that was a real Ocolorum that Mel was trapped in, because something seemed fishy to me. I didn't think that it was just, well, okay. Well, I guess it was an Ocolorum, but not in the way I thought. So actually, redact what I said. But we learned that it was actually a test. So it was kind of a validation for me because it wasn't a full prison. It was a prison, but being a test for her mageness, because that sorcerer said that she explained that whenever she was giving her all of the info. Now, the sorcerer said that Mbessa was blinded by her thirst for legacy. So, all right. Yeah. Okay, so as this act went on, there were a couple points when I was thinking about how the story was progressing, and I was going, so what is the goal really? What is the motive? What is the end goal that some of these characters are doing? So with Mbessa, there were definitely times that I was going, okay, what is her goal really? And so this parallels other thoughts about there is a large number of people who feel that the story, this last part, this act, wasn't fleshed out. It was a little rushed. There were a lot of unanswered questions. And I definitely relate to some of those things. With Mbessa in particular, I know that she wanted to have this unbeatable army with soldiers that didn't fear death, and she wanted vengeance for Kino, and she also wanted vengeance for Rictus. But I didn't really know and understand her conquest, really. Maybe that's just me. Maybe she just wanted to take the Hex warriors to different continents and conquer them, but I don't know. At one point I was going, well, what are you doing though? It's just kind of weird and hooking up with Viktor and doing that stuff. I don't know. I was thinking the motive seemed a little lost. Maybe that's me. I don't know if people agree with that. But that was something that was interesting to me. All right. So at 347, I thought that Mage Room really looked like a boss dungeon in Dark Souls or something. Now, I haven't played Dark Souls, but I've seen a lot of people play it, and that looked like one of the boss rooms. At 424, I saw my friend Jay LeRae mention that the crow with 3 eyes means bigger and badder exists. So I don't play League at all, so I don't know what that means. But there is a crow that pops up at 424 that later, at the very end of the show, we see that crow pecking around the rubble, and then they grow 2 more red eyes. So I think that's the same crow that we see later, but that crow is flying around Mel, which I thought is very interesting. I don't know if that bird stems from somewhere in Noxus. Not sure about that. But I do think it's interesting that the crow pops up as Mel is leaving that area. Very, very particular. Maybe it's related to Rose, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Maybe I could have looked this up, but I forgot, and I kind of don't feel like going back. So if y'all know, you can let me know. At 639, Mbessa saying, we do not lament a warrior's death. We avenge it. Thought that line went hard. Bars. 717. That's a wild setup for Viktor and his globe. Singed took all of the tubes and stuck them to Warwick, and he was just latching them up, and also had that other contraption. So that was a wild setup. 752, Viktor saying this is the glorious revolution, or it could have been. All right, so this is another thing that I feel there was kind of a lost motive for me personally. Maybe I just didn't get it, but Viktor wanted this grand evolution thing. And again, I was thinking, all right, well, what's the move? I don't know. Because it's evolving the minds of people and making them one. I'll talk about this later. But with this, I don't know. For me, the motive got lost a little bit from Mbessa and Viktor doing their thing. Like, what is the goal, though? Because Mbessa wanted full revenge and an unbeatable army, but the army wasn't going to do nothing if all of the soldiers and everything are seeing the light and not doing it. I don't know. Okay, so at 835, Viktor says that he will evolve all those willing. Those willing. So some people did not want that. but I guess he just got so much power that he could do what he wanted. Because when he was discussing with M-Pesa, he was saying that he could make any soldiers as long as they were willing to become these hex mechs. But there were plenty of people who didn't want to be evolved, but the light still got them later in the last episode of this act, and they were seeing the light. So I thought that was interesting. At 9:22, R.I.P. Isha. That was so sad. Also, that was such a sick pose that she did whenever she just went, bah! Man. 10:19, Maddie. That's all. 11:33, Jinx surrendered. That was so touching how Caitlyn was trying to calm Vi down when Vi said, man, she saved you and you didn't even bat an eye and just locked her up. And Caitlyn said, nah, fam. It's because Jinx surrendered before I could even do anything. Dang, Jinx. Jinx a real one. At 12:43, sing Jinx with her braids undone. Wow. I feel that this was such a good representation of how her psyche was. Because I feel that with the braids and the braids holding her hair together and that being undone, I think that was a direct parallel to how she felt. That all of her internal morals, sense of self, and everything was just undone in a mess. So powerful. At 13:28, Jinx saying to Caitlyn that she didn't know her mom was there and that it probably wouldn't have made a difference, but she didn't know. Just going, dang. Jinx has just reached this level of clarity, I feel, at this point. That whenever Vi was telling Caitlyn that Jinx had changed, I think at this point, Jinx had definitely changed and done a lot of thinking. At 15:52, Jayce's reaction and intuition was wild. This was when Jayce and Mel were in the council room that got wrecked. Because if you slow it down, you can see when the Hex mech was on the pillar and Jayce shot at it. But at first, I didn't see the Hex mech at all. I know obviously it was there because it jumped down. But at first, I thought Jayce was just firing the hammer off because he was just so frustrated at just so much. He just had all these emotions bubbling up and just, that's what I thought he did. But it was a Hex mech. So good reaction and intuition time. At 16:40, can you tell me why these mechs are so fast? Hello? The speed at which they move is insanity. Dog. At 18:04, Viktor saying the glorious evolution is destined. Again, what is the glorious evolution that he sees? Because we see it at the end, everybody's just there and the world is perfect. And I guess maybe it just didn't make sense to me because in the end, seeing what that would have been and what Viktor said that it would be was nothing. This kind of, I don't know if y'all have played Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation. The main goal and how everybody ends up racing, the storyline associated with it, with the lore building, is that nitrous oxide wants to turn the entire planet into a concrete parking lot. That's one of the worst evil villain plots that I've ever known in my life. Why would you want to turn the entire planet into a concrete parking lot? So, Nitrous says to Crash and his buddies, hey man, if you don't want that, you gotta race me. And if you beat me, then I won't turn the world into a concrete parking lot. What are you gonna do with a concrete parking lot? Just race all day and then what? So this perfectly rivals that sort of level for me. Then I was thinking, okay, what's the goal? What's the move? What are you doing though? What are you doing? Glorious Evolution didn't make sense to me. 1917, Mel and Jayce make such a sick team. I don't know how I don't know how Jayce's synergy is with other characters in League, but I thought it was just really sick that you got the hammer blasts and then you have Mel doing all of the mage work. Really sick. Now at 20:05, Skye didn't say anything to Viktor after his mech got toasted by Mel and Jayce. Now, thinking to how some things ended up feeling rushed, I feel that maybe this was a thing for me that seemed a little rushed, or I was going, I wish there was a little more. I wish there was something else. And here's why. I feel that somewhere along the line, Skye would have told Viktor, hey man, I think that this plan you're doing is a little whack. I think you're beating off the path. You're going not to where you thought you were. The main goal was to help people. And here you are making these hex mechs that are killing people. Or, I guess not killing rather, but making them see the light and then turn into hex mechs themselves. I feel that Skye would have put up some sort of a fight and would have said, nah, what are you doing? I feel that there was probably some sort of argument that they had that Viktor was saying, well, you just don't see it, but this is what I have to do. And Skye would say, nope, I think you're missing the mark. I don't know what happened, but something happened. You put something different in your coffee. I don't know, but maybe this is not it. And furthermore, I feel that with this argument that they would have had, that Skye was trying to convince Viktor to not go through with it, and Viktor was just steadfast in his decision to go through with this plan. And then Skye ended up saying, all right, there's nothing I can say, I guess, but I don't like what you're doing. And I feel that this was super prevalent because I feel that you can see it in her face, that she's just not on board with this glorious evolution plan. And I see her face have that concerned look. And I feel that you can see her unapproval that's just veiled in her caring for Viktor. Because obviously she cared for Viktor when she was alive. And I know that she cares for him now. And I know that this is the in the mind version of Skye that Viktor has. But regardless, I feel there would have been some sort of dialogue between them. Because from this point on, we didn't hear anything this Skye said. I talk about this later, but she, I think, says 3 things. So, I think there should have been more pushback or something. At 2021, Jinx has a lot of hair, yo. And again, saying that is just so powerful. At 2024, I didn't think that we would see another hallucinatory conversation with Silco. Because I thought that whenever Jinx was comforting Silco in her mind, whenever they were in the body of water, I thought that that was going to be the final straw, that she was just cutting Silco off. Oh, I just had a realization. Okay, right now. So I was saying that, yeah, I didn't see that coming because I thought that she cut him off. But at 2051, that's when Silco says, killing is a cycle. And I feel that this is much more than literal, as many of these things are in this show. I feel that it is psychological and it is mental. So many characters have killed their past selves or their past lives, or they're battling between them, whatever the case, but a lot of them do kill their past selves. And I feel that once they kill the past self, then they either embrace their new self or they resurrect their past self with modifications, etc. So at 2031, Silco goes on to say, I think the cycle only ends when you find the will to walk away. So the realization that I just had, that I said I had in live time, was that it's a cycle. So that would make sense, because if Jinx is embracing her past self, even though she let Silco go, she's running right back to Silco. And Silco is saying, hey man, you got to stop that. So that makes sense to me why Silco popped up again. And furthermore, I feel that directly comes into play with Jinx zipping out at the end of the show when we see her, because she keeps walking back and forth between her Jinx and Powder self, embracing family, not embracing family, fighting different aspects of her life. But she's walking away. Furthering my theory that she is still alive. It's very clear that she's still alive. It's not even a theory. She's alive. And now, if we bring it back to the quotes from Ekko, sometimes a leap forward means leaving a few things behind. And now we have, I think the cycle only ends when you find the will to walk away. Those are two quotes that perfectly solidify what so many of us on the internet have been saying, that Jinx is just walking away and then she's not dead. I have in my notes that I feel these are both indicators that she will not show herself to those she loves anymore. And as I said at the beginning, this is what I said at the beginning, that I feel that we are going to see Jinx again. I think for reasons, naturally, that we'll just see her pop up in a different continent. Or I feel that, okay, so in my notes, I have that, or if she still go as Powder, or try to retain her past self when life was good, or Jinx when things were bad, she won't reveal herself to those who knew her with those names. But that's just a thought. If she ends up sliding back into the past and forgiving herself. But I really think she will go by a different name, because I feel that she has to, in her mind, kill one of her, or both rather, of her past selves. At 21:35, Jinx has the hex ball in her mouth, spits it out, and into her hand catches nothing, because it's all in her mind, which I thought that was a really, really cool touch. 22:10, when Vi opened up the cell and went to go hug Jinx. It was so heartwarming to see. Man. And thinking about it, that was the last time that Vi hugs Jinx before she dips out. Wow. At 22:42, Jinx says, "There's no good version of me, and she's going to break the cycle." So again, this furthers the theory that even though she's still alive, she won't embrace her past versions. So again, I feel she's going to give herself a different name, a different variant, a different version of herself, because she says directly that she is going to break the cycle. At 23:31, I feel it is not a coincidence that Mel is a white mage. Most white mages generally in games have an attributement to healing or buffing or some sort of support. So that definitely makes sense with who Mel is and all that she's done. Furthermore, it has been confirmed from the showrunners that the team is making more League of Legends shows. And one of those shows is happening on Noxus. So I feel that with Mel being the white mage archetype, I feel she's going to try and heal the Medarda clan or things happening in Noxus in that show. I feel that that is going to be a main point of the show that is based in and around Noxus. Because I don't know anything about League because I've only seen a handful of friends play it. But Noxus is one of the places where the show is going to take place. Demacia and Ionia are the regions that are going to be mentioned in the next show. My guess is that because the showrunners have also said that there has been a show for development in it for a year. My guess is the show based in Noxus is the one that's going to come out next, since we already have seen Mel. And I feel that that is a direct path to the next show. A very easy path, I feel. At 24:10, Jayce tells Mel that she will never be a passenger. I'm calling it right now. There's going to be an episode in that show that the title or something is going to be called Not a Passenger or I Drive My Destiny or something. I feel it. I'm calling it right now. I feel that that's going to be a thing. At 2437, it's so cool how all of the factions are there. Everybody's there for this big revolution moment. At 2514, who's playing that piano though? And where they at? Where they at? So this piano man, what I'm calling him, he shows up a lot. For just being a random person, I thought it's very interesting how he keeps prevalently popping up. And I talk about him more in my notes, so we'll get there. But, okay, so I have my thoughts here. Also, it's really cool how they mix diegetic sound with the actual score. Now, diegetic audio, if that is in a video game or a show or whatever, the diegetic sound is what comes from the game or the world or the fictionary thing that you're watching. It originates from there. If it's non-diegetic, that is the score of the music that's actually not happening in the show. But in this sense, they actually mix the piano that the character is playing with the music that's happening for the soundtrack, which I think is super nice. At 2548, we see a closer shot of that pianist. I'll put I have a note for this after. At 2610, the woman with the buns and the monocles, her drip is so sick and she's super pretty. I love that character. At 2617, there's the pianist. So it's probably just what I thought, because I was thinking, where is this theater? Where is this stage that he's performing at? But it's probably just him maybe playing one more note before things really go down. He's just saying, man, I might not be able to play again. So I gotta play my tunes. Maybe that was it. At 2646, the music that was playing with everybody on the precipice of getting involved was really emotional for me. I love when everybody gets together and you have different factions or different groups of people or different heroes or whatever. I love when people are mixing together. That's one of the reasons that I love the show in the Arrowverse Legends of Tomorrow, that you have all of those different characters, the underdogs, all teaming up together and making a really cool group, a really cool squad. So that was really cool for me. At 2653 is when it hit me. Then I said, wait a minute. Is this pianist the guy who overtakes the turret for Lorist whenever he gets killed? Because that really looks like that guy. And then, I'll talk about this, of course, but it is that guy. The pianist is the guy who takes over the turret for Loris. Now, again, this is just a random dude. He's just a random pianist that we haven't seen, unless he was in Season 1, and I don't remember. But as far as I know, it seems that he is a rando who suddenly just gets a lot more screen time. He's just playing the piano, then we see him again, and then he ends up taking over for Loris, and then we end up seeing him again at the very end of the show. I have the timestamp, but we see him prominently again. So is that a somebody? Who is that? I searched up pianist in League and nobody came up. But is this a person who's going to have a prevalent role or something? Do they have bard classes in League of Legends? I don't know. I don't think so. But very interesting. Very interesting. At 2709, the caption said it was Maddie who was the enforcer that said just a moment to Gert as she was going on the little lift. But that didn't look like Maddie to me. I don't know if I'm bugging, but that didn't look like Maddie. I don't use captions when I watch, but when I'm rewatching, I do look at the captions because it has a lot of people who are named and everything, and you can see everything that's there. Really good for taking notes and all of that. But I don't know. It didn't look like Maddie to me, so I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I'm bugging or there was a little glitch in the captioning. I don't know. At 2740, man, it was so awesome seeing everybody decide to join the fight from from Zaun and all of the related. It was so cool seeing all of them join topside to make things happen. Very cool. At 27:52, Steb taking off his hat as they walk toward him. Mad respect. That homie is respectable. Respectable. 28:58, Caitlyn going down to the cell where she knew that she would find Vi, and her saying, "You think I really needed all of the guards at the Hex Gate?" Spicy, let's go. So we had the romance and we had the sex. We love to see it. Fun fact, if I find the tweet, I'll put it in the description. Or if you know, please put the link. I think it's really funny how they actually had to turn down the spiciness in the sex scene because the exec said, "That's a little too much. That's too much." And I don't know if it's hearsay, but apparently the first iteration of that scene was actually going to be rated R because that's how much they turned it up. I don't know if that's true, if it was that much, but I know that they did have to turn it down. So, interesting. At 31:16. Okay. So I don't know what these are. I looked into it a little bit, but I didn't fully commit to the bit, I guess. But what are those rune things that Rictus had on his spear that just canceled out any magic or hex tech or whatever? I don't know what those are. Because we see them whenever Ambessa is heating them up in her tent as Mel comes up to her. I don't know what those are. Can someone please tell me what those are? I don't know. At 31:58, when Ambessa struck Mel, I was livid. I was so mad. I hated that. 32:20, Ambessa said that she had to forsake one child to save another. That's rough. So there was, and I know that this is going to get explored in the next League of Legends show that's based in Noxus, that there was a big decision that had to be made where Kino had to be sacrificed and Mel was the child who ended up not having to die or go to the Akalorn prison or whatever else the Rose deemed appropriate for him. So, that's rough. 33:07, I think it's sick how Ambessa decided to wear the stones, the amulets that Erictus had. Super sick. I thought it was a nice nod to it and really cool how it was honoring him in a way. At 33:26, Ambessa said that she found another way to defeat the Rose. So that's her goal, to avenge. Again, she wants to avenge Kino. She wants to avenge Rictus. And then, I guess, ultimate power? I guess. So, I don't know. Again, for me, the motive was just lost a little bit. I was just going, what are you doing, though? What is the goal? What are you doing, though? What do you want, really? Because after you achieve those things, if you kill off the Rose people, whatever, and let's say you get rid of all of Piltover, then what do? That's it? You say, GG's, everyone, go on home. I don't know. 34:24. Sky said, this is when Sky was talking to Viktor in the last bit that we didn't see her again. Sky said, well, I guess this is goodbye. And that's it. Again, I really feel there should have been more conversation between the two of them. I feel that it's just kind of weird that we were having this constant dialogue between Sky and Viktor the entire time during the healing process. All of that is back and forth. She's always with him. And then all of a sudden, there's just nothing. It's just, I guess this is goodbye. And that's it. Nah. And Viktor kept saying that he would miss their talks. Like, dog, I miss them too. Where they at? Why you not talking anymore? It's just you talking. At 35 minutes. Though after that, she did say, no, you won't. Like, you won't miss our talks. Now, this for me solidifies that, yeah, I don't think that she was happy about the path that Viktor chose and what he ended up using his power for. She sounded very resentful there. And I feel that you could see it in her eyes that she was upset. Furthermore, when they are holding hands and it's not the nice slide like, oh no, I'm so sad that I'm not gonna see you anymore. It was a, may I see ya? So I think she was mad. So I think they had a lot of chats off screen where she was just saying, I don't agree. I don't like what you're doing with this. Not about it. I don't like how you're going to become this chaos god. I don't like it. So that was, for me, at 35:04, the lyrics, I feel as they always do with this show, match what's happening here perfectly. So the lyrics say, take a seat, but I'd rather you know you're here for what could be my final form. Stay your pretty eyes on course. Keep them on the reasons below our words before. So I feel this related to Viktor and Sky, directly saying that I know, I'd rather you know you're here for what could be my final form and where I get to, but stay your pretty eyes on the course. That Viktor almost, in a way, telling Sky, stay your ground on having that pure heart, unlike me. Stay the course, unlike me. Unlike me. Because, yeah, he just veered off the helpful highway. He said, I'm going down Chaos Road, baby. 35:31, dawg. Seeing Vander's thoughts being erased on the mind parchment, that sucked. You saw all of these beautiful memories just burning away. Burning away. That was another factor that made me super emotional after this whole thing was over. I was thinking of this was a big factor of that. 35:37. This is the lyric in the song that's playing, the line. Stay the pretty eyes on course. Vander looked so sad. As if he was telling Vi and Jinx to stay their pretty eyes on the course. That even though he's not there anymore, stay the course. Do good things. 35:40. Whew. The light just disappears from his eyes. The life is just gone. And at that point, you know that Vander's gone. He's gone. Now it's just Viktor and his stupid, glorious evolution business. Hate that. At 36 minutes, the lyrics say, I can feel the light shine on my face. Did I disappoint you? Will they still let me over if I cross the line? This is, of course, about Viktor. Of course. I can feel the light shine on my face, clearly from this stupid, glorious revolution plan. Did I disappoint you? I feel that is for Sky, as well as Jayce. And will they still let me over if I cross the line? Homie, you done big cross the line. Huge. Awful. 37 minutes in. Viktor's final form? Bro. That's wild. That's Devil God mode. Goat 666 mode. Wow. All right. Dang, an hour 14 minutes. Long form content. Let's go. Okay. We're finally at episode 9. 20 seconds in. The shot of Jinx with her hair sprawled everywhere is just so powerful. Again, that girl just had so much hair. But seeing her all distraught like that, she is broken. That poor girl. Also, the lyrics for Wasteland. Peak perfection. So the lyrics. I've held on for as long as I can, for the ones that I had to defend. I've been strong every day of my life. If she wants death, could take me this time. This wasteland where nothing can grow. I used to have strength, but I ran out of hope. I know it's my fault that I'm here all alone. This world is a wasteland. Please, let me go. Royal and the Serpent killed it, because obviously, this is perfect for Jinx. She's been holding on. She's been battling so many internal conflicts that she's had for the ones that she had to defend. That's both her family and Vi and her family, including Sevika and Isha. She's been strong every day of her life. That she's always fought for the good things and the things that she's wanted to fight for. The people that she loved to fight for. And if she wants, death could take me this time. She's saying, you know, that's it. This is too much for me. That's it. That's all I got. This wasteland where nothing can grow. Jinx didn't see how anything good could come of this. There's nothing, there's nowhere else to go. So this world is a wasteland. Just please, let me go. And that was obviously very prevalent because Jinx had the bomb and she said, all right, but then at 137, Ekko stops Jinx. Repeatedly. I gotta say, homie's reaction time is cracked. Because to do that in the time that the explosion is going off, you gotta be quick with it. So this is really cool how Ekko pops in. We didn't know, we knew he was gonna pop in, but we didn't know when. And this time was a pretty good time. I gotta say, Ekko coming in clutch. Oh, man. But seeing Jinx, maybe I should have some water after all this talking, eh? I think that Jinx, well, seeing Jinx being so broken was another factor in this being so emotional. Because we love Jinx and she's just so broken. And according to the lyrics in the song and seeing her and obviously what she ended up wanting to do, she's gonna be on her way out. That was gonna be it. But Ekko said, yo, man, after doing the Ty Luke thing, I think 5 or 6 times, he said, man, I'm gonna take a break. At 6:53 is when, this is around the time that the battle starts happening. A couple seconds before that is when everything's going down. So that sucks that Gert is done. No, I hated that. At 7:20, yo, Mbessa got all the best weapon equipment. I don't know who her shopkeeper person that she always goes to, whatever NPC, loves her because she has the best weapons. Those axe whip gauntlet things, what is that? That's crazy tech. That's wild. Whoever's going, what are you buying? Dog, they hooking her up. Everybody else need to go to whoever she going to because she always got the best stuff. She always got the best stuff. 10:02. Dog. Loris is gone. He went out like that. Now, Loris is also interesting because I feel that Loris kind of got thrown into there. I still don't know. Again, maybe I'm bugging, but I don't remember Loris being in the role of enforcer or anything in Act 1. I don't think he was in Act 1. I mean, Season 1, if I remember. And then, here in Season 2, he just pops up randomly, as I've said in the past videos. It just seems random. And it just seems like, where did you come from? Who are you? I just don't know. So, he went out. He got struck in the neck by arrows. You hate to see it. I have a hiccup coming on. And at 10:03, it was the pianist who took over for Loris. See? Who is that man? Who is that? Who is this piano man that's just all of a sudden getting all this screen time? I don't know who that is. Who is that? I think that's a somebody. At 10:18, man, that sucks. That at this point is when Maddie gives them the bomb that she made not to go off. She says, here you go. There it is. Maddie sucks. Sucks to all those people on the internet who say they were sus of Maddie. You were right. You were right. And then I was also just thinking, because I thought it was weird. So I thought that Loris and Maddie were both a little sus in the beginning. As time went on, Loris, I just didn't know what he was doing. But Maddie definitely seemed sus because she was super close to whenever the attack happened during the memorial and just gave sus vibes. So there it is. And on top of it, it was a fake bomb to blow up a fake decoy. That sucks. 1202, Caitlyn's fighting style is super sick. She was using her melee tactics that she learned from Mbessa, and then she was also mixing it with her rifle. Super sick. I think that she's just a long-range character in League. I'm fixing my shirt because it's slowly getting all bunched up. I feel that Caitlyn is probably a long-range character in League, but I don't know since I don't play it, and I didn't think of looking at it until right now. But I think she's a long-range character. Please let me know. At 12:23, we do not love to see the bomb not going off because Maddie sucks. You hate to see it. At 12:50, Mbessa's entrance just coming in there, just or whatever, that choir music entrance. Dog. Sick. She has such sick entrances. And her shoes that got the spikes on them, like, dang, dog. That's what I'm saying. Whoever the NPC is that's hooking her up with armor and weapons, everybody got to go to them. They got the best of the best. At 13:14, Maddie. Right there is when we know that Maddie is a snake. That Maddie, worst character. Hate her. And then not Mbessa at 13:44, saying, I warned you of the hazards of professional entanglement. Dog. That is crazy work. At 14:25, this is when Maddie made the shot it off. Mel put up the shield. That billow went. Got him. That's some of the fastest karma that I've seen. It was so satisfying. Oh, my phone says low battery. I started this at 65%. It's at 20%. But we're at the end now, so we're going to make it. That was the fastest karma I have seen. I was so happy whenever that happened, seeing Maddie go down. I said, get down there. You're done. You're done. We love to see it. We love to see it. Let's go, baby. I was so happy. And then those, I just thought of something else also. There was somebody who on Twitter, they'd said, I feel that Caitlyn just brushed that off. That Maddie's death are just landing on her shoulder. I feel that she would be a little more wrecked for that. But number one, they didn't have enough time because they already cut so many other things. And number two, it's fine. I'm sure that she was just so furious that Maddie had double crossed her that she did not care, honestly. And of course, she was just a little fling while she didn't have Vi. So, I don't think that she was gonna be that wrecked. At 14:39, I gotta say those doors are big that Mel came out of after putting that shield up, that little dome shield. That she opened those doors. Those doors are big. Okay, at 15:28, man, Jinx coming in on the airship, yo. with the drip. Man, that was so sick. And the music that's playing there, oh, perfect. Now, it might be reaching a little bit here, but Jinx being in this version, this variant of herself, I feel that all of the colors represent that she is the most manic here. Because I feel that as time went on, all of the scribbles and the graffiti things going on, I feel that she gets more manic as time goes on. And I feel that those colors are representative of that because her shoes are super colorful, her hair is super colorful, her fit is super colorful, the hood is super colorful, everything is super colorful. So if you look at everything that Jinx has done with all of the colors, it's sort of a culmination of everything together. All the smoke, all the colors, all the writing, all the scribbles. That's what I think. 1550, Ekko in the squad on the hoverboards. Yo, so sick. So sick. 1607, all the reinforcements coming in was super hype. You see Sevika and everybody else just going to town. Oh, so sick. At 1609, it's somebody says let's run. It's interesting because Steb doesn't talk at all. That's the shot when everything starts going down and Steb and all the other enforcers were on the ground with their hands behind their back and then they get up and go. Somebody said let's run. Nobody's mouth was moving, and people on the internet seem to think that Steb was the one who said that, which is interesting because it's thought and portrayed that Steb doesn't talk. So I slowed it down to try to see if I could see his mouth moving at that point, but I didn't see it. But what was also interesting is that the captions didn't say who said it, which is very, very peculiar because usually when it goes to another scene, it has the name of who that is. Even before, like whenever Sky first got introduced in Viktor's mind, it said Sky said before we even knew who that was really because we were seeing what was happening. So it's really interesting that they chose to omit who said that. Fascinating. 1625, Vicing Jinx with her turret gun. Oh, heartwarming. Just going, yes, my sister is here. 1702, let's go, Piano Man. Piano Man got the turret to work. Let's go. He's charging it up. Vi came over there. Bop. Got the person who was blocking it. Piano Man said, let's go, baby. And then blasted nothing. Blasted the decoy. You hate to see it. Now, 1821, seeing Viktor's final form. Wild. That is a really sick form. He's a lost man, but he's a drippy man. That was, but also crazy. Very wacky. Looks really sick and ominous in peak, but also, wildin'. 1902, that's a super sick shot with the beast because Vander's not in there anymore. It's just the beast and the mechs. They were all on top of each other and they just paused before they went in. Oh man, that looks so sick. But dog, they're way too fast. Why they so fast? They literally teleport because they go so fast. It's ridiculous. At 1924, Sevika and other people started to get involved. Oh, this is when they started to get... Oh, no. Okay, I'm right. This is what happens when you do things real time. Okay, so this is when all the light is starting to affect people. The hex mechs are holding people up, letting them see the light. And again, I remember Viktor saying that he could evolve people who are willing. Those people like Sevika are not going to be willing. But maybe I'm just bugging and this is part of the process because he's super powerful and they can see the light. And then they get broken down mentally into wanting to be willing. But I thought that was a little bit of a disconnect that I was thinking, these people don't want that. But yet they're seeing the light, no problem? I don't know. But this comes into play later with a comment that I'll have relating to Ekko. At 2008, it's wild how Mbessa is fighting the Caitlyn Mel team all by herself. It is a 2v1 and Mbessa is going toe-to-toe with them, no problem. So Mbessa is a boss character. And she also has the Rictus amulets, which she has the magic portion that Mel has, and then she has a physical version that Caitlyn has sort of as well. Not as good as Mbessa, but she at least has it. I thought that was a really cool fight scene of them going back and forth and how all of the soldiers around, they respected the duel that was happening. Well, the 2v1 duel, and nobody intervened. They just was going, yep, it's happening, and we're just gonna be here for support. Be here for background. Like Matt in Super Smash Bros. How he's in the audience. If you know Wii Sports and you know Matt, you know what I'm talking about. 2037, Piano Man got, even though he didn't get got in the end. 2041, seeing Hex Warwick made me sad. Seeing the Hex Beast, it's just super sad. I think at 2056, Ekko signaling Vi to jump so she could ride on his hoverboard with him. Dog, that was sick. All he did was, and then, yep, let me just jump onto, crazy. 2118, Vi using her gauntlets as propulsion jets this entire episode was so hype, of just using it to basically travel super fast. Man, such a cool way to use those. 2136, for real, Mbessa really is a final boss, for real, for real. 2256, Viktor telling Jayce during his spiel that we can be of one mind. Again, I was thinking, dog, I really don't understand your grand evolution plan. I don't get it. I don't get it. Every time he talks about his plan, I said, but what are you doing though? I don't understand. At 2350, Caitlyn sacrificing her eye to be able to rip off the amulet that Mbessa had on. Ooh. But she did it though. Respectable. So 2526, after Mel sent Mbessa into the Rose Thorn Plain, and wow, that's a loud motorcycle or something. And the sorceress was gonna do whatever, because the sorceress said, yes. Yeah, let's get it. 10 toes in when we stepping on business. And then Mel attacked the sorceress and then got rid of her in some capacity, because the sorceress was saying, hey, what are you doing? And the Mel said, man, I see you trying to deceive me. And the sorceress said, yeah, sly girl. So that wasn't the right sorceress of the rose. I'm not sure what's going on there. Thought that was interesting. 2547, Mel, Mbessa said to Mel, you are the wolf. And I think that this also has to be, wow, I can English. I feel that this has to be a title for another episode in the Noxus show. I'm also calling that right now. Something about a wolf. Maybe that's going to be the first episode, and then Not a Passenger is the second episode or something. But I think those two titles are got to be in the show. And just like that, Mbessa's done. She's done. 27 minutes in, Jinx telling Vi, I'm always with you even when we're worlds apart, backs up the theory, that's not a theory because we see it, that she's still alive after. And she's still with her even when she's not. Jinx could be in another continent on Runeterra in the future, but will not forget about Vi. And Jinx wants Vi to know that. 2718, dog, why does Viktor got that extra creepy arm? Why you got that? 2 arms ain't enough? Why you gotta have this little thing? Broken. Okay, so this is my first thought into writing this. I thought it was interesting how Jayce was so quick with it to kill Salo. Super quick to shoot the Hex mech that popped into the council room with he and Mel. No hesitation to blast Viktor when he was in Herald form. But man, homie didn't even swing once with this scary Goatman Chaos God Viktor in front of him. Not even a swing. Homie just looking at him. You just unplugging stuff? Really? You don't want to blast him nothing? Now you want to breathe? You didn't take a breath when you got out of there. You said, I cannot fail. I cannot fail. I gotta go. Bah, bah. I gotta go. I gotta go. Bah. I gotta go. Bah. I gotta go. And then now you're taking a breath and you just unplugging your appliances? I thought that was a little strange. But I guess it's because later he told Viktor that, he promises him he would do this and yada, yada, yada. And maybe he was thinking, but man, I thought, Okay, at 2746, the shot of Jinx and Vi here is super, super sick. Epic Games, I beg you, please put Jinx and Vi back in Fortnite. Furthermore, it would be really sick if you gave them their alt fits that they have at this point in the show, which is the end of Act 3. Please, Epic Games, please put Jinx and Vi back in Fortnite. I beg. Please. You will make so much money. I beg. Please. Brother. Ooh, brother. Okay. So, at 2807, here you can really tell that Vander is just not there anymore. This show is impeccable and has such a penchant for displaying emotions in eyes and face. And that is the most static expression on a face, I think, in the entire show. Completely devoid of any emotion, any feeling, anything. Just whew. So that's real sad that homie's just gone. Hate to see it. 2858. The mechanics of the slow gravity fight, pretty sick. Pretty cool. Of course, the beast thing can just fly around, broken, but Vi was using her gauntlets to power her around, and then Jinx was using the turret and the Sharkpedo and everything to move around. Thought that was really sick. 3036. So this is when the light streaks were going into where the battle was happening with the three of them. I thought it was really funny how Viktor and Jayce just went right in between the fight where Jinx, Vi, and the Beast were fighting. But when the streaks of light came in and they were looking, because they knew that Jinx and Vi and Viktor were in there, so they were looking for him. That reminded me of World of Light in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where those beams of light from Galeem and you know, the light from when Galeem and Darkon and that fight that happened and all the light streaks coming and zapping everybody, turning them into statues. That's what it reminded me of. Very, very cool. But yeah, the light streaks, they didn't know that Ekko was there because Ekko was in the rubble. There were 3 light streaks looking for people. They were looking for Jinx, they were looking for Vi, and they were looking for Viktor. But not the 4th one. They didn't know about Ekko. They didn't know about the homie Ekko. Paralleled Kirby to the World of Light is Ekko to this glorious revolution. Ekko is Kirby. At 3110, it's wild. Yeah. This is when Jayce, man, that shot of Jayce holding his hammer, that is how he ended up getting blasted and how he saw himself. So I feel here it was confirmed that Ekko and Heimerdinger went to Runeterra 2, while Jayce wasn't on Runeterra 2 or a 3rd or a 4th or whatever. Homies was on Runeterra 1, but just in the future, because he literally, that was the self that he saw when he went there. At 3131, Jayce got by Viktor and went into the light evolution mindscape. And you can see that he's still conscious there. And that ties back to, if the people are willing, I'm going to ride that high horse. And I'm assuming that it's at this part, well, this is where I assumed at this part, that they could break through. Nobody else broke through until the end, but I'll get there. At 3145, the shot of Viktor in his ascended form is sick, because he's in there in the mindscape and he's just floating in all multicolor. Man, looks sick. I ain't even gonna lie. Looks real cool. It's unfortunate what he doing, but he look cool. 3246, Ekko coming in there, dog. Was so sick. So sick. And then at 3253, the shot with Ekko jumping is one of the sickest shots in the whole series, hands down. And the way that man was maneuvering on that board and smacking people with the board as he was going by, the Hexxed mechs, and oh, it was so sick. At 3344, see, even though Ekko got caught after he was doing the sick time loop thing, man, Ekko's so sick and literally saving everybody. But even though Ekko got caught and he started seeing the light, homie's eyes were still glowing yellow, and he still broke free of that and fought it enough to pull his contraption, move it past 4 seconds, and end up breaking out of that. So to me, that tells me that Ekko has the strongest mental foundation of anybody in Piltover and beyond, honestly. Everybody in Piltover and Zaun, nobody compares to Ekko. Ekko's mind is just cracked. Bananas. 34:35, the shot of the explosion after Viktor said, "That device can't be." After Ekko checked on him, that's also one of the sickest shots of the series. Seeing that big old explosion there, yo, sick. 35:07, Jayce said that all he wants is his partner back, and Viktor asks why he persists. That's all that he's done. And Jayce answers, "Because I promised you." So I guess that's why that he didn't just automatically swing on him when he was in his GOAT 666 form. But again, I still think it's weird. Maybe he had all that time to think, I guess, so he softened up. His mind wasn't as rigid as Viktor had said in the beginning, I guess. At 36:31, we saw Viktor's visions of other timelines, and he said that only Jayce can show him that getting what he initially wanted yielded the same result, which was a whole lot of nothing. Cool seeing those different timelines there and how that ended up happening. 37:05, seeing everyone in midlight stasis backed up my thought of, what was your plan going to yield though? Like what were you going to get out of having everybody in that one mind thing? I don't know. So wasn't a good plan, I don't think. 37:43, Jayce giving the arcane power to Viktor, just going bop. So that showed that he fully trusted Viktor, that they were gonna fix it. And they did. 38:18, the music and art style here was really interesting. The whole warp in the sketch, it almost reminded me of kind of Harold and the Purple Crayon type artwork. It was really, really interesting. Really cool. 40:20, Jinx telling Vi that she can't save Vander. This is after they fell. So Jinx telling Vi that she can't save Vander, I feel was an interesting point, because I feel at this point, Jinx just has such clarity that Vi was struggling and reaching and had that desperation that Ambessa said, Caitlyn, desperation will lead you into oblivion. And I feel that that desperation was going to lead Vi into oblivion, falling down that hole. But Jinx said, Vander's gone, dog. You got to leave him. Now, 40:39, I thought it was very interesting how in this scene where Vi was crying over the beast body, because that's not Vander, the beast body, that's the most scared that I've ever seen Vi. And if you recall, on Runeterra 2, Powder over there said that Vi was super scared of everything, but the afraid quality that she had is what ended up saving people and making sure that people were cared for, because she was afraid. So I thought that was an interesting parallel there, that Vi is super scared here, even though she's not, because she's the toughest person ever, but not here. And it's almost as if this timeline was going to end up the same way as Runeterra 2, but Jinx wasn't going to let that happen. At 41:06, Jinx saying, always with you, sis, whenever she was being held up by Vi. Again, on the surface, this could be seen as not literal, since you remember those you lost, but I think it's pretty literal. 42:09, Jinx is definitely still alive. Okay, people have been talking about this. You'll see a video if you just look it up. People are talking about it left and right, but there's a little pink dash at about the 2 o'clock position. Just pew, pink, pew, shimmer little electric dash right before the bomb goes off. Jinx is still alive, all right? And the lyric said, I know it's my fault that I'm here all alone, which nods to my theory that Jinx is going to be all alone from here on out. And I know it's my fault because I did this to myself. I decided to stay alone. On first watch, though, I definitely didn't see this, so that definitely attributed to me being super sad and crying. I didn't even think about the ship at the end. I was just super sad. So I was in my feels, all right? Leave me alone. 43:23, I thought it was really heartwarming seeing everybody in the same place. Everybody was doing the send-off and writing names and burning them and sending them into the sky. And it was so, so cool at 43:32 to see Sevika up there. All right, 43:42. Oh, 10% battery. All right, we're getting close, but we're almost done. 43:42. Piano Man is there again. Front and center. Who is this man? Who is this Piano Man? Why is he getting so much screen time and so much prevalence? Who this? Someone get your mans. Who is this? I don't know. At 4350, that shot of Ekko overlooking the city, also one of the sickest shots. It's just so beautiful, but also so sad at the same time. At 4404, Sevika getting a seat at the table. Amazing. Amazing. That made me so happy to see. Also attributed to me being so emotional after I finished watching this for the first time. At 4420, Singe's daughter's got her life back, and that's wild that Singe got something amazing out of all of this. His daughter was fine. She was all hexed up, but she was fine. And now I see the little box, the music box, matched the little pocket watch that he had. Again, he could have had this in the first season, and I don't remember, but it was confirmed, at least from me this time, that that is why the pocket watch was so close to him. 44, I really got to get through this because my phone's going to die. Okay, only have like 6 more lines. 4442, this is where you see the crow have 3 eyes. My friend Jay had mentioned that she mentions that means bigger and better exists in the world. Wild. At 4450, the shot of Mel in the armory is also such a sick shot. Man. 4509, Caitlyn saying, our story isn't over. Yeah, you right. You right, the story isn't over. 4533, Caitlyn is holding one of Jinx's monkey bombs, which means that she was thinking of Jinx as she was looking at the floor plan. And Caitlyn was looking at an area that said air ducts and cooling system, which means that Caitlyn was looking for where Jinx went. But Caitlyn, at 4650, we know that you're not going to find Jinx in the ducts because she's on the ship that's flying away. Come on now, who else is on that ship, y'all? And at 4702, furthermore, why did the ends that popped up there, why was that in the style of Jinx? In the graffiti style, why was that there? Jinx was, as I've said before in some different parts, I feel that she narrates a lot of the story. I feel that she was narrating the end of this part of the story from her ship that she's flying away on, going to another continent that we're going to see her in again at some point when she's maybe not going to go as Jinx or Powder. That's what I think. So Jinx is alive. You know what they say. You know what they say. There's all my takes. That's all I got. 1 hour, 47 minutes. Well, longest video I've ever done. You know what they say.